What is the role of religion in our ever-changing world? From the News Channel 5 Network, this is Issues of Faith.
Hello everyone, welcome to Issues of Faith. I am Ben Hall. Today we are talking about an offshoot of Buddhism, basically an international community of meditators that is here in Nashville. We like to explore all kinds of different things on this show. This is a great opportunity to learn about this offshoot of Buddhism. Happy to have with us Danielle Livellara, right? Did I say that right?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
With Nashville Shambhala.
Correct.
All right. How would you describe Nashville Shambhala? And again, this is the only community in the whole state?
In the state of Tennessee, yes.
Okay.
We are the only community of Shambhala. And there are centers and groups all around the country and all around the world. And we basically gather to meditate a couple times a week and also study the foundational teachings which have come from Buddhism.
And so is it a faith? Is it a religion? What would you say?
It's interesting. We get this question a lot, and it's not specifically a religion. It's actually open to people of any faith. So we have folks that come that are Christian or Muslim. They may be atheists. They may not have a belief. So it's not actually about believing in anything specific. It's more about come and meditate and really uncover. The basic foundation is called basic goodness, which is a term we might feel lacking in today's society.
There is a sense that there is basic goodness within all of us.
All of us.
And how, so if I were to go, how would that manifest itself? I mean, so what happens?
So if you were to show up, we do meditations on Wednesday night and Sunday, and we do offer free instruction. So newcomers come in, maybe they've meditated before, maybe they haven't. And we take them through a series of posture and breath and just teaching them how to meditate, and then really welcome them to our community. It's about, plenty of us can meditate at home for sure and have a practice, and when we gather in community, we're able to discuss issues, maybe what's come up in our meditation, what are our challenges. So it's really encompasses a lot of different things.
So it's an offshoot of Buddhism. How so? How is it an offshoot of Buddhism?
The founder of the modern day Shambhala, actually his name was Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche, and he was born in Tibet in 1940. And he had to flee Tibet when the Chinese invaded, and he made his way to America. And once he got here, there was certainly a lot going on in the 70s, and so he decided to really bring a more modern version of meditation and Buddhism to America and to the West. So he started these teachings under the heading of Shambhala. And he was really concerned with, another term you'll hear in Shambhala is creating enlightened society. And the idea is, if we're loving and accepting of ourselves, we can radiate that out more to the world. Let's start there.
There is a sense that we are living through an age of greed and aggression.
Yes.
Is that right? Mm-hmm. And so what do you mean by that? I think that's obvious in a lot of ways, but I guess how is what you all are doing specifically addressing that?
Well, when we think about why are we being greedy and aggressive? Who are we being greedy and aggressive toward, right? And so we have this idea that the other, whoever that is, it could be Republicans, Democrats, it doesn't matter, but we've taken society and we've put, like, you're over there and I'm over here, and I don't like you for whatever reason, and so all this aggression comes out of it. Really, underneath a lot of that is fear and us not accepting ourselves. I feel like, and this is a basic tenet of Buddhism, is that we're all suffering in one way, shape, or form. And if we realize that, the suffering will actually come out. Sometimes maybe you're having a bad day, you came in, got in traffic, and you get here and you're cranky at someone for no apparent reason, right? We do that all the time. If we're more in touch with ourselves and accepting ourselves and get to know our emotions and our mind, we're less likely to radiate that out.
And there's a sense that humanity is at a crossroads.
Yes, and it's interesting because this book was written in the 80s by Chogyam Trungpa, and he's referencing we're at a crossroads, we're in crisis, and he's talking about nuclear war and things like that. And here we are, nothing has changed. One would say maybe it's gotten worse, maybe it's gotten better, but... So
how are we at a crossroads, and what can we do about it?
Well, it feels like, especially even over the last year, there's been more and more of a separation. I'm feeling like in America there are these factions of people that are really all at war against each other in a way that I don't know that I've ever felt in my lifetime. And so when we gather together as meditators, we're actually getting clear on our own aggression. We may not like certain groups of people. Why? What is that about? And so the more we can touch into our basic humanity and our basic compassion for the other, we're able to be kinder out in the world. I mean, I really don't want to discount the fact that as we meditate and become more mindful, we're just nicer human beings. We're less likely to get into a fight with a woman at the grocery store who comes up and, you know, wants to talk about politics, you know, and that just tends to radiate out. So it does seem, it can seem a bit like a woo-woo idea, I will say. But you're noticing a lot of people, like Arianna Huffington of the Huffington Post is like, you know, written about meditation and thriving, and a lot of companies, larger companies, are starting to see the benefits of meditation.
So how large is the community in Nashville?
We're small but mighty. We have about, I would say about 100 people in a given month that kind of come through our doors. So we're not very large at all, but we're growing so rapidly. We have really twice a week, we have new people that show up pretty constantly.
And so could you be Christian and do this?
You can.
And is there a difference? What's the difference between Christianity and what you're doing? I mean, I guess, so you're saying they are not exclusive of each other?
They're not exclusive at all. In fact, the founder, Chogyam Trungpa, really believes that Shambhala is a wisdom tradition that gathers wisdom from all different people, from all different cultures, and Shambhala actually is a lot of different cultures put together. The idea is that as we get in touch with our own humanity, our own wisdom comes out. There's a lot in the way of our wisdom and our kindness, and so let's say you're Christian and you come in, you actually will learn meditation, and then you're welcome to apply that to your faith. You know, we're not believing anything specific, so it's not actually in conflict with any particular beliefs.
Learn meditation.
Yes.
All right, so how hard is it to learn how to meditate?
That is a great question. We call it meditation practice. It's just like going to the gym and other things. You know, if you go in one time and do, you know, lift weights, you're probably not going to get in better shape. So it's a practice. It's not complicated, but it's different than what we're doing in everyday society because we're slowing down. We're sitting. We're getting in touch with our breath. So how many times during the day do we actually stop and notice that we're breathing? And then we're making peace with our thoughts, which most of the time we're trying to maybe stop thinking about a certain thing, or we're upset that we're thinking about something. So it's not hard to learn. It does take some dedication, and it's consistency.
Our brains are always active.
Yes.
And they sometimes, our brains can be our, I don't want to say our enemy, but they can create problems.
Yes.
Meditation, is that designed to shut the brain off, essentially, or how would you define it?
It's interesting. There is this myth that meditation will have you stop thinking, which I think the only way we stop thinking is when we're dead.
Right.
Meditation is about making peace with the mind and actually bringing some focus to the mind. So our current lineage holder, because again, this is coming from Shambhala and from Buddhism, is Sakyong Mipam Rinpoche, and he's written this book called Turning the Mind into an Ally. And I actually want to read, because this is exactly what you're talking about. He said, many of us are slaves to our minds. Our own mind is our worst enemy. We try to focus and our mind wanders off. We try to keep stress at bay, but anxiety keeps us awake at night. We try to be good to the people we love, but then we forget and put ourselves first. And we want to change our life. We dive into a spiritual practice and expect to see quick results only to lose focus after the honeymoon has worn off. Then we return to our state of bewilderment. So when we work with our minds and emotional states, it can help us in any activity in which we engage, whether it's sports or business or study or a religious path. I thought that was interesting that he brought that in. So it's like, can we stop and take a breath and become present and be aware of what's going on right now in the moment?
And you think things are worse now than ever? There's certainly been trauma and the Civil War, and there's been all kinds of, throughout history, horrible moments. Now, I guess now we're moving faster than ever. But again, when you say we're at a crossroads, and there will be so many people that would agree with that, and I wonder, when I hear that, do we just talk about it more, or are we really worse off now than we've ever been in a lot of ways?
What's interesting is we could certainly argue being worse off back in the day of famine and starvation, and many, many things have improved our lives. And then there are things like technology, which is amazing. I mean, we wouldn't be sitting here right now if it wasn't for technology, and being able to film the show and all of that. But now you see we're always on the phone. There's no space in our life. If you go to a bar or go to a coffee shop, everyone's on the phone, no one's talking. So I feel like that has got our mind more engaged and even more scattered than ever. Mm-hmm. So that is definitely curious to me. And to see what's going on, I think part of it is, I don't know that the world's any worse. I think we're hearing a lot about it more because of technology.
And that can be so overwhelming.
So overwhelming. And when you think about, especially here in America, when you think about our drive, our relentless drive to be goal-oriented and produce and do and schedule every minute. And I just don't think as humans we're actually designed to live that way. And I know I'm a bit of an outlier in that, and people are like, how do you get anything done? But there's something about meditation that puts space into your life. You're sitting down, it could be 5 minutes a day, it could be 10 minutes, it could be a half an hour. You're literally stopping the crazy pace of your life, and you're just sitting down and being with what is. And so I find for me, the more I do that, the more I'm able to handle the traffic. The person at the grocery store who's cranky, whatever it is. So.
Well, I want to take a break and then talk about, so the people coming through your doors, how many are, you said there's a whole group. How many are Christian? How many are atheists? Well, let's talk about that. We'll take a break. We'll come back and continue the discussion. Be back right after this.